Hi, I'm Carly from Gnarly Gaming, and today I'm finally back and filming. And there's probably a little bit of confusion here. I basically went away for a while, and then I came back and I had this shiny, flashy, new video style, and then I kind of disappeared again. And part of that is because I was realizing more and more the direction I was heading just wasn't me. I would compare it to a YouTuber I know that started to do a talk show and it kind of flopped. And while the video I created and the other videos I made didn't flop, they really just weren't true to my style and who I am, and I just like sharing me genuinely and truly and my gaming joy. And it felt like it was steering more away from that and more into this ultra professional lens of who someone else wanted me to be. I mean, one of the videos that I didn't share that I created was a how to play video, and it was great quality, all of those things, but it was just so not me, and it wasn't even a game that I liked. It's not a bad game, it's a game that I could see why other people like, but it wasn't me, and it was bringing me no joy. And so I took a step back just to realize who I wanted to be and what I wanted to do with this platform, which is really just share me and my gaming adventures honestly and truly. And so I'm going to spend my time in a little less professional ways, just geeking out about the crap that I actually love and enjoy. So I'm back to start to do that today, and I'm going to talk about Runar, which is a Kickstarter that is currently live on Kickstarter that I am just utterly smitten with. And so yeah, I will be back. There'll be a new video next week. This is really exciting to me, so I hope you will be alright with the brief interruption, and I'm really excited to get back to just being and living and sharing with you all what I love so much in the gaming space. So, kicking it off, we're returning with Runar. So, this right here is the beautiful box for Runar, and I'm going to geek out a lot about this game. So I was first introduced to Runar at Essenspiel this year. I went in October and I was there with work, but this was one of the few games I got to see and really experience in my free time I had. It was very limited because I was working, but I did get to play this one and I was just so instantly head over heels for it. I feel like I gotta just, because it's a big box. But it's jam-packed full of different scenarios and minis for what is a beautiful Viking campaign game. This game is a Viking campaign game. In it, up to 4 players will choose a Viking clan, and they'll kind of face off in order to traverse this frozen landscape and gain the favor of the gods. A lot of that will be through battling each other, as well as collecting runic shards that will be scattered across the board. Runar is a campaign game, but it is a really approachable campaign. I've had a ton of different campaigns that are like Frosthaven or Gloomhaven that are hundreds of scenarios, or even ones that are smaller that are only around 10 or so, that can just be really difficult to get a group to commit to play through and finishing. Runar has a campaign, but it's only 5 scenarios long with branching pathways, so it's very replayable. You can play any of the scenarios as a one-shot for a really satisfying 2-hour experience, but really within 10 hours you could play a whole thing through, elevating your Viking clan along the way, upgrading them, and really fighting it out through various different quests within the same general mechanics and world. To start off the game, every character will pick one of the 4 clans to be. I normally play green, but I was just really smitten with the Walrus clan. This is Eric. He has a shark head, and I love him. Helga has like a blind shroud over her and is just an utter badass. I really like all of the minis. There's one that has a beard like whimsically going straight through his legs. They're really playful and silly, but all very also kind of that classic Viking-esque brunt loveliness. And I adore them. So you'll pick a clan and you'll take all of the different clan cards. So each clan will have 3 main characters and they each have action cards. You'll shuffle them together and that's kind of your resource deck. It's kind of managing cards as well as action cubes is kind of everything that brings this game to life. On a player's turn, they'll pick one of the action cards available to them, and this will have one of their characters on it, as well as different cubes on the top and bottom. The first thing you'll do is you'll gain any of those resource cubes on the bottom of the card, and the character listed on the card will be the character that activates that turn. Then you can spend the cubes that you have to take various actions. Different colored cubes correspond to different actions, such as movement or collecting a blue runic shard with a blue cube or a yellow runic shard with a yellow one. Some of them will allow you to battle or defend yourself. And white, which is key, is wild, but also gives you the ability to switch which character you're using, no longer being bound to the character that you just played. At the end of the turn, you flip the card, and the cubes on the side are the ones you'll obtain at the end of your turn. So you're managing which actions you have available, managing the actions you have in your pool, as well as which character you want to use when on the board, and how to best optimize your chance at points. Collecting runic shards is one of the ways that you get points, but it also progresses the game. At the end of a player's turn, any shards taken off the board will be put back on using a Destiny card deck to basically determine where they go. But within that deck, you'll also find events that adds different ways of scoring points to the game, building slowly upon all of the actions that characters are taking, and eventually a set number of those events will trigger endgame. So you do want to pursue shards, but you also kind of want to do it in a timely way to optimize all of the other avenues you have to score points. Some scenarios also have a nemesis phase, which allows you to not only battle other players and their characters, but also some really cool monsters. I'm going to pull some of them. Minis in this whole game are absolutely stunning, but some monsters that you might have to contend with fighting as well. This can distract you from other maybe easier ways to earn points, but if you don't face them properly, monsters can actually, in some scenarios, win the game themselves, shaping everyone's fate throughout the campaign. It's a really, really cool dynamic. Successful attacks of other players and monsters, as well as collecting runic shards, all can help you push your way to victory in most of the scenarios, but each of them will have their own flavor and objective. And a Destiny card in the middle of the game completely twist it, giving a lot of points for something that you maybe haven't been pursuing before. Shards will also play a huge role as the campaign develops. Collecting different colored shards can help you upgrade your different characters, unlocking better asymmetric abilities for your characters that you can trigger during their turns, as well as maybe upgraded items and other things to give you the edge in the campaign. All in all, you get a really intuitive Viking game to play that is gorgeous and a lot of fun. I'm really thrilled by the length of their campaign because I plan to just have someone over for a 10-hour session and do like a whole big brunch and boozy and Runar-filled day to make it through the first campaign. And I like the fact that I can actually have a really joyful 2-hour game with 4 people that doesn't have to be bound to a campaign if I don't want it to be. All of the scenarios can be played disjointed as well. So it feels like one of those things that I can enjoy for the big experience, but over time can enjoy this game again and again. There's been some campaigns that I've played like Cloud Age, which I really enjoyed, but as soon as the campaign was over, I was like, I'm not going to take this off my shelf again to play it outside of the campaign. This one I would. And I feel that way about very, very few campaign games I think I own, that I actually like this one as single sessions nearly just as much. When I was first introduced to this game at Essen, I was freaking out, and that would have probably been okay if I was just being demoed the game privately, but they were live streaming it, and we barely got through any turns as I just asked like infinite questions and was geeking out about all the different pieces and mechanics. I can't stress enough how intuitive it is, but how just fun it is to go across the board. You trigger traps on people, you can get different like runic shards and just kind of hoping it'll end up near you and not near other people. There's a lot of give in the game to help you optimize things. If you're not near an enemy or a shard in like your general quadrant, you actually have an action you can take that allows you to basically move your character to an adjacent one at the beginning of your turn. Basically meaning that no one will ever be completely blocked out just by sheer coincidence of where things unfold. And so there's always a very tense atmosphere on this board. And if you're playing with less people, it'll actually block off parts of the board, and there's different setups for different numbers of people to really optimize the way in which the space plays, and to have maybe a shorter or longer game experience if that's something you'd like. I'm gonna hold up the board a little bit. I'll show you guys a picture, but it is just so dang pretty.